be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided need to be reliable, but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness.
This program is paid for by Retire Ready Financial Group. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Retire Ready Financial Group or guests and do not reflect the views of WPHT or Odyssey. Today's program is pre-recorded.
What if being in recovery from a mental or substance use disorder was something we proudly showed the world? Millions of people are in recovery, sharing hope and support with family, friends, and community. Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
WPHT, WPHT3 Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Kathy Barnette on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Good morning. Good morning, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, most of the mid-Atlantic states. How y'all doing this morning? This is your girl, Kathy Barnette, hosting the Kathy Barnette Show. So excited. OMG, there's so much to talk about. I'm just going to get right into it. There's so much to talk about. I am not going to get to even half of it in this program. But rest assured, we're going to be talking about some of these things over a period of time. I'm really excited about next week's show because I'm going to bring in my really big globe and I'm just going to spin it around. And I have a wonderful subject matter expert about what's going on all around the world. And we're going to be talking about some of the things we pay attention to. I know right now we got our blinders on. We're looking at our own lives, we're looking at our country. We have a number of things taking place. In addition to the inauguration, which seems like the entire world, many world leaders are going to be here celebrating with Donald Trump, which is very different. It was like in 2016 when very few people wanted to come in. Now they've even put some of their 7-figure donors on a wait list. Here's even money can't buy you a ticket into this inauguration that we're going to be celebrating less than 2 weeks. But today we're going to be talking about a number of things. I have some wonderful guests coming in. And so we're not even 2 weeks into the new year. In fact, today is the 11th. So again, we're not even 14 days into the new year, and all hell has been breaking loose all around us. And and sometimes I feel like there's this psyop that's going on. We're not allowed to fully digest what just happened before we're inundated with like 12 new things, right? So day one of this year, we had the New Orleans terrorist attack. We weren't even fully able to digest that. Before day two, we had what appears to be a terrorist attack in Las Vegas, followed by the ill-timed Hamas supporters taking over all of downtown Manhattan with that major march, if you remember that. We weren't really able to digest it, process it, see what is going on. Before day 6, we have Kamala Harris becoming the first Black Indian woman to certify her own defeat. That was January 6th. She certified the votes, making it official that Donald Trump won that November election last year. That was day 6. Day 7, we weren't even able to fully appreciate Kamala Harris being the first Black woman, Indian, person, human, with all her she, her pronouns to certify her defeat. We weren't even really able to do a victory lap around that before January 7th. And the ferocious wildfires that just erupted all across California. It has been devastating. Gavin Newsom put out on his Twitter that the Sunset Fire is 100% contained. The Lydia Fire is 75% contained. The Hearst Fire is 37% contained. The Kenneth Fire in California is 35% contained. The Palisades Fire is only 8% contained. Yesterday, there's no improvement, up from 0% yesterday. The Easton Fire is at 3% contained. So again, it's like you're not even able to fully digest what is going on before our attention get diverted, and now we're focused on something else, and no one's talking about the terrorist attack in New Orleans where the FBI was trying to do a psyop and tell us, no, it's not a terrorist attack, it's a terrorist event, whatever that means. Like, what does that mean? But then day 8, we had Mark Zuckerberg sporting a gold chain. Sean, I don't know if you saw that, but he's sporting a gold chain, a baggy black T-shirt. Hair
Really?
is all curly. The only thing he was missing was a gold tooth.
Yeah, I know, right? He was just missing the gold tooth and everything.
I know, right? But
And the
he's
pants league.
I know, right? But he's walking around, and the next thing we're gonna see is a teardrop tattoo.
Oh, man.
He's like real thugged out. I don't even know. He's one of the
Thugged out.
people. He's one of us now.
Oh, he part of the squad. So
You
can
know.
we invite him to the cookout?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, right? All he needs now is a gold tooth, and then it'll be official. He's one of us. But yeah, he's doing the podcast tour, apology tour with his gold chain. He put out a video, had a gold chain, missing the gold tooth, went on Joe Rogan yesterday, the 10th, sporting the same shirt. I mean, this is a man who's worth over $1 billion. Surely he can get a shirt. But there he was, going all over the place. Then we had day 9. Donald Trump Jr. landed in Greenland. So I guess that's not a joke. Donald Trump is serious about taking over Greenland. And Donald Trump did a pre-inauguration presser in Florida where he said essentially he's not taking or tariff out of toolbox when it comes to taking over Greenland as well as the Panama Canal. And then day 10, that was just yesterday. Again, we realized Donald Trump is not joking about annexing Canada. Like, we thought it was a joke, haha, hee hee, but then it started getting kind of weird because he just kept calling Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, governor. He kept calling Canada the 51st state of the United States, and it is official. He invited the governors, Republican governors, to dinner at Mar-a-Lago, and once more, he was discussing not only Greenland, but Canada as well. So this is only 10 days in. 10 days in, we haven't really been able to digest and to absorb what it is we are. And this is just in America. So we're not even talking about what's happening over in Bangladesh and Iran. I mean, again, next week, I'm going to bring in a subject matter expert, and we're just going to spin the globe, go around the world in 60 seconds and try to get everyone up to speed on what's going on outside of America. But before I move on, I want to just double click for a minute on Mark Zuckerberg, because yes, I'm going to make fun of him because I think he's a rat who's moving to where the cheese is. Did y'all read that book? I read it right out of college. Who Moved My Cheese? So you move with the cheese. Wherever the cheese is going, you're supposed to move with the cheese, right? Don't double down on, sending messages via pigeon, because we're not going back there. We now have, we have the internet, we have emails, we have texting, we have DMing people. There's so many ways. And if Elon Musk has his way, he's putting chips in humans' brain, we're going to be able to just telepathically know what the other person is talking about. So you move with the cheese, right? That's what Mark Zuckerberg is doing. He is a rat who is simply moving with the cheese. I know Republicans, we tend to get real happy when someone says they agree with us, previously not having agreed with us. And we get really excited and we want to bring them in and we want to put them and we want to kick out of the room those who've been with us from the start. And we want to make room at the table for these Johnny-come-latelys. Y'all do what you want to do. I really don't care at this point. But I'm just letting you know, he's a rat. And he's simply moving with the cheese, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But this whole apology tour and him making himself into a victim, not so much. I want to double down on something that he's been talking about a lot, and he sent a memo out to his employees saying they are doing away with DEI. Now, of course, we've been talking about that. I've been talking about that from the genesis of DEI, that this is not going to work out in Black people's favor. I went into all kinds of Black Lives Matter rallies. They weren't inviting me into their rallies. I just showed up, walked up on stage. I'm Black. What you gonna do about it? And I'm explaining to, it looked like thousands of Black people at some of these rallies. This DEI stuff, this CRT stuff is not going to work out for us as Black people. In fact, I said it everywhere I went. I was saying that CRT, DEI, whatever you want to call these things, they're going to make America racist again. It's not going to make us less racist. It's going to make us more racist. If anything, it's going to stoke up some old flames. It's going to make people feel as though they're being pushed out, bullied, and coerced in the worst way to do something that for decades now we've been saying we don't want, right? Remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that one day we'll be able to judge people not based on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. If you're a good person, we want to bring you in. If you're a hard worker, we want to bring you in. And then we have DEI, CRT under the guise of, listen, we just want to make people conscientious, that there are folks who don't look like you that you want to bring into the room. I can get behind that because I do have a problem that diversity of thought is so monotonous. Diversity of thought only looks like one color. I do have a problem with that. But that's not what they were doing with DEI and CRT and all these other things. They were essentially using it to shove down our throats that America is racist, America is awful, America is the worst thing that has ever happened. And I vehemently disagreed with that. Now, not only is Mark Zuckerberg coming to the realization, I don't think he really is coming to any realization. I just think, again, he's a rat who's moving with the cheese, where the cheese is moving. But in addition to Mark Zuckerberg, there's a lot of other companies who are also dumping DEI. McDonald's, Walmart, Boeing, Lowe's, Ford, Jack Daniels, Harley Davidson, John Deere, Tractor Supply, Toyota, Nissan, Caterpillar. The list just goes on of all of these companies who were moving with the cheese back in 2021. And with the cheese then was like, hey, everyone needs to dump on America. Everyone needs to say this is a horrible country. You cannot, I would say things like this is the greatest country that has ever existed. We're not perfect. But in America, we're the greatest country that has ever existed. And I would have people look at me side-eye like, what? Really? How can you say that, right? I'm an American. What am I going to say? China's the greatest country that's ever existed? What am I going to say? India's the greatest country that's ever existed? No. America is the greatest country that ever existed. And we tried to have these conversations. No one wanted to hear us. They shut you down. They deplatformed you. They demonetized you. They shut you out of the conversation. I couldn't be booked on shows to talk about it. No one wanted to talk about those things, right? Because somehow, even though I'm a Black woman married to a Black man raising Black babies, I was a racist. I don't know how you come to that equation, but people like Mark Zuckerberg was calling people like me racist because I saw then what it appears most people are just waking up to now. Like I saw 10 years ago that my husband and I should remove our children out of the public school system and we should start homeschooling them. Today, everybody's talking about it. It's like this brand new thing, right? Shh, it's a brand new thing. No, I saw that 10 years ago. Just like I saw 4 years ago that CRT, DEI, whatever other thing that they were doing back then, that these were not grassroots organic movements, but that instead CRT, DEI, they all originated in the halls of universities, behind gated communities and ivory towers. Black people did not come up with DEI. Black people did not come up with CRT. No, Black people weren't in the room when these things were thought about and put out there. In fact, CRT is nothing more, than elites doing it. Very smart people did this. Very conniving people who did this. And now they're shoving it. Then they shoved it down our throats. And if you objected to it, you were a racist. Even I was a racist. They didn't want to have anything to do with it, right? But CRT is nothing more than Marxism. Remove the word race-based Marxism and inject worker Marxism. It's the same thing that's repackaged, but now it's based on identity, whether it's your race, whether it's your sexual orientation, whether it's your ethnicity. It's still Marxism. And all we did was just replace the word worker and put these other things. But the goal is still the same. The goal of Marxism is still the same. It is to create agitation. Agitation for what, you may ask? Why would people want to agitate other people? It's very simple. Because if I can divide you, I can control you. If I can get you to focus on the trees, you won't pay attention to the forest. You won't pay attention to the real issues. If I can get you ad nauseum to focus on the nebulous things, right? And these people weren't hiding it. There were no macro aggressions or racism. So they were telling you to focus on the micro. Get a magnifying glass and go around looking for ways that people are offending you. And I told Black people then, I'm telling Black people now, and now Mark Zuckerberg has put out a memo basically saying what I was saying back then. The people who are going to be hurt the most by this sudden awareness that DEI sucks is going to be Black people. I'll see y'all on the other side. Here's the number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. If you want to jump and be a part of the conversation, give me a call. Blessings.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Tune in tonight starting at 7 p.m. for the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party. Live from Adelphia in Deptford, the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party is broadcast exclusively on 98.1 HD2 and Bob Pantano Dance Party Radio on the Odyssey app. Powered by Daniels Plumbing in Philadelphia.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hey guys, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. If you're planning on betting the NFL playoffs, buckle up. Betting football's hard enough as it is. We're doing the research for you. So listen to Cash the Ticket with Mike Valeni and I. We'll be dropping new episodes for every single playoff game. And that's going to be storylines leading into it, so some good football stuff, but also the betting nuggets you're looking for. Sides, totals, trends, player props, throw those in there too. Pre-game and post-game, we're going to be all over the postseason. Subscribe to Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
Hello, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, most of the Mid-Atlantic states. How y'all doing? This is your girl, Kathy Barnette. I am the host of the weekend host of the Kathy Barnette Show. Thank you so much for listening in. I appreciate it. With me right now is Steve Baker. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Kathy, I actually have laryngitis, but I wasn't going to cancel on you.
Oh.
I had to cancel on everybody yesterday. So
but you made it here today. Thank you so much. So you preserved your voice just for this show.
Well, it came on me a couple of days ago, and I was starting to get really iffy on some of my media appearances on Thursday. Then Friday, it was gone. And this morning, I've got this. So if I keep my voice low down here, I can make it work.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. For those of you who may not know who Steve is, he is a Blaze TV investigative reporter, although I know that you're doing a lot of other things as well. You came on my screen, Steve, when I saw you as a journalist. You were out there at January 6th informing people of what was happening. And next thing I know, I got this alert that a journalist had been arrested for reporting on January 6th at the Capitol.
Yeah. And I'm not the only one. There's 4 or 5 of us that were independent journalists on the day who got arrested for doing nothing but journalism that day.
But the others who were arrested, were they conservatives?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, I have a caller. I'm going to let this caller come in, and then you can help me take this call. Do you mind?
Sure.
Okay. Hey, Bill from Ben Salem. How are you?
How you doing, Kathy?
I am doing well.
I love your show. I'm glad you're on the air. I've listened to you before when you filled in for Dawn. I voted for you, and I just want to say welcome to the airwaves.
Oh, that is so kind, Bill. I appreciate that. Thank you
so much. All right, so you have a good one, sweetie. You hear me?
That was so kind. Thank you so much. Bill just wanted to call in. He didn't have a question, just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, listen, guys, here's the number just in case. If you do have a question while I have Steve on the line, the number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. So how do you feel having been arrested, Steve, and knowing that right now you're out, you're free, you're doing media hits, but there are a number of other people, American citizens. I pulled a list. The list just went on and on and on of American citizens who just so happened to be at the Capitol on January 6th of 2021. They are still in prison, many of them. Some of them have not even been charged with a crime, which makes you think how horrible could their crime have been if they can't be charged in 4 years. But then we find out Joe Biden has commuted the sentences of over 1,500 people. How did that make you feel?
Well, look, there are so many varying layers of individuals and their stories and their backgrounds. So let me just clear up one little piece of misinformation that's out there.
Okay.
Everyone that's currently in prison or in jail today related to January 6th has actually been charged.
Okay.
Now, have they gone through all of their due process? Have they had due process rights violated? Yes, they have, incredibly so. But they have, at this point, all been charged. Now, there's a lot of January 6th characters who are on the FBI's most wanted list for January 6th who did violence against law enforcement. They have not been even arrested or charged yet. And that's a big, because we also know most have actually even been identified. Their names, we know their addresses, their kids go to school.
So
for some reason,
So why?
yes. Why haven't they been?
Yeah.
There's only one reason, Kathy, and you probably know the answer to it without me spelling it out.
Because they're not conservatives?
Well, because A, they're conservative, or even if they are, they were paid to be there for other reasons, as antagonists, as provocateurs. And look, even the leftist open source researchers, they call them the sedition hunters. You've probably heard of that title. This group of open source sleuths, sedition hunters, as they love calling themselves, they have identified these through better technology than what the FBI is using. They use very high-end facial recognition technology. They've spent thousands upon thousands of hours reviewing the videos. They have identified these individuals, and yet they have not been charged. And even though they come from the left, they're very aggravated with the FBI and the Department of Justice for not filing charges against them, while instead they're arresting journalists and grandmothers who accidentally became a tourist inside the Capitol that day.
Yeah, and they're also arresting people. I know Brandon Straka personally. I've talked to him. He didn't even go inside the building and got arrested.
Right. Quite a few examples of that. We have many examples of individuals who did not go inside. And well, let's just start with the very top of them. Enrique Tarrio.
He wasn't even there.
He was in Maryland on the day. He got the stiffest sentence of all. He got 22 years. Stuart Rhodes did not go inside the Capitol that day, did no violence. He got 18 years in prison. And then we can, as I said, we can work our way down from there. And one of the most important cases is another journalist who was actually contracted. He was an independent photojournalist, was contracted by a mainstream television station in Mobile, Alabama. His name is J.D. Rivera. He behaved himself 100% as a journalist. He followed the story where the story went. They arrested him and they charged him. They convicted him and they put him in prison for 8 months, including 2 months of solitary confinement.
Wow.
Now here's the punchline, Kathy. The only crime he committed was that he was an activist for the Latinos for Trump movement. He was never committed any crime actually on the day.
Just so happened to be conservative. And now it is, I don't know if it's projection, I don't know if it's arrogance, but now you have all of these people because Biden did not only issue a pardon for his son and several others, but now he is being rumored to get ready to issue out preemptive pardons on people he believed Donald Trump is going to get in office and do the exact same thing that his administration did.
Right. And look, I don't anticipate that the Trump administration is going to be as weaponized as the Biden administration's DOJ has been. My own judge has chastised me for even referring to the Department of Justice and the courts as being weaponized. I've only done that in my journalism, which means my own judge, federal judge Christopher Cooper, has criticized me for my speech and for my journalism and done so in court. And the frightening part about that is that of course they have been weaponized. We can prove it over and over and over and over again. And as much as people in the MAGA movement and people on the right want to see retribution, and Trump did say, "I will be your retribution."
I do kind of want to see it. I really do.
I know, but we only want it within the law.
Within the law, that's right.
That's right. And so if they have broken a law and it's a real law, then let's go after them. But let's not do to us, which is charge over 1,000 people with glorified trespassing when it was, in fact, by the time they arrived on the Capitol campus, there were those do not enter signs had been taken down. The doors were already open. Doesn't matter who opened them. You can have your own feelings and your own personal open the doors. The fact is that they were open before they in. And because they looked and said, "Oh, honey, look, the door is open," and they've never been in the Capitol before, and they walked in for 15 minutes, they took a couple of selfies, and then their lives were destroyed for that.
Have been destroyed. Yeah.
Whereas by contrast, we can show thousands of examples of people who set cities on fire, who attacked law enforcement, who have done much, much worse, and had either never charged, had their cases dropped, had their cases dismissed, and this was by the same Department of Justice.
Yeah. I mean, it's unthinkable what we've lived through these past 4 years. I would even say the past 8 years since Donald Trump took office. I mean, I can extend it to go back to the past 16 years under the Obama administration. It wouldn't be hard. But now what we're watching are a lot of people who were a part of destroying innocent people's lives and livelihood now come out feigning moral outrage, pretending that they were the victim and captive this entire time, i.e. Mark Zuckerberg, for example. He's running around with a gold chain, a baggy T-shirt. I was saying earlier, the only thing he's missing is a gold tooth. And he's going all around, Joe Rogan and everywhere else, decrying how he was actually the victim. What do you make of this? Should we believe him?
You know what? I want to try and give Zuckerberg a little bit of grace and maybe actually growing up. Okay. There's a possibility. We have to remember how young he is, how young he was.
He's 40.
He's 40 now, but he became a multi-billionaire as a kid. And he started this Facebook thing as a way to meet chicks in this college, on college campus, and it grew into something that probably he had no idea what it would launch into. But I'm trying to give him a little bit of grace there. At the same time, I am a victim of Mark Zuckerberg's policies. My own reach and my own business, my own income was devastated when he started the throttling of my reach and started putting those penalties and hitting me with those strikes for things that I was publishing on Facebook that was in fact absolutely accurate. I'll tell you a funny story, Kathy. Real quick. One of the biggest battles I had with his fact checkers, and I had tens of thousands of followers on Facebook at the time, and it was in the middle, the COVID thing was happening, and so I put out a study that I pulled from the NIH, our NIH website. It was a study published, a peer-reviewed study that talked about how dangerous long-term wearing of a mask could be.
Yes.
Now this is Fauci's. These are the people that pay Fauci's paycheck. All right. This is their website, a peer-reviewed study on his website, and it talked about how dangerous masks could be. They pulled one word out of that study and they hit me with strikes, penalties, and suspension because of one word in somebody else's study, not what I did. So I went to battle with them. And so as a result of that, I got to see and speak to who my actual fact checker was, the actual person.
Okay.
You know who she was?
Who?
She was a Hollywood gossip columnist.
Wow.
Did you hear what I just said?
That seems real reasoned and educated.
Yeah, a doctorate who spoke 4 languages fluently, who wrote this paper, had it peer reviewed and published on the NIH site. His paper was fact checked by a gossip columnist, and I suffered the consequences for it.
As well, now he says he's going to do away with it because, as of 2 days ago, he realized those fact checkers actually censored speech. I don't trust him. I'm sure you probably read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? I think he's a rat who's moving with the cheese. And that's business, and I guess that's a good thing. I don't trust him. I don't know if trust is even necessary at this point. These people, they just need to put out a good product and go somewhere and sit down. But let me pivot real quick in the few moments that I have with you real quickly. Biden, he's not being a lame duck president. He's not just licking on the ice cream cone and just going to fade out of our existence. He's trying to build a legacy in the last 9 days of his 4 years. And with that, he just banned over 650 acres of water, of bodies of water, and banning drilling. What do you think of that?
Right. Well, it's the same kind of mentality that caused the fires in California.
Yeah.
You got to protect the snail dart, or darter, or some other fish that is deemed sacred by a Native American tribe that doesn't even occupy the land anymore. And so, as a result of that, we get the policies that lead to one of the worst disasters in the history of this country, certainly in California specifically. And that's the same kind of mentality that does that. So it's driven by ideology. It's not driven by science, not by any means. We are seeing more and more and more evidence every single day that these windmill farms off the east coast of our country are destroying wildlife. They are killing
the
whales.
Yeah.
And where's PETA? Where's Greenpeace? Where are the activists that are supposed to be watching over and protecting this kind of thing? It's because they don't care. They don't care. And as Ted Nugent wonderfully pointed out on an appearance on Joe Rogan, this was a couple of years ago, he said, how many animals are killed to produce tofu? Billions.
Wow.
Billions of animals, because they have these farmers that grow that soybean. They have to destroy wildlife of all types to keep them out of the farm fields. We're talking about rabbits, squirrels, deer. We're talking about all manner of wildlife, insects. Billions and billions of animals are killed every single year to produce tofu.
Right.
That's the answer to your question, Kathy.
Absolutely. They don't care. If y'all seen that movie, I Care a Lot, that's about the extent of how much they care. Steve, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it. Go drink something warm for your throat. I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, everyone else, 855-839-1210. See you on the other side.
America is the greatest country in the world. And the other thing great countries do is they make sure that they can keep their people warm in the winter and cool in the summer, because we have the energy that we need, and we're not dependent upon countries that are lesser countries. We should not, in the United States of America, be dependent upon Venezuela. America is better than Venezuela. We should all be able to say that. We're better than Venezuela. We're better than China. We shouldn't be dependent on China. We're better than Russia. For the longest time, the left wouldn't let you say this. I'm proud to say America's better than China.
Rich Cioli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by February 12th, you'll pay no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
It's here, and then it's just like I walk in, I'm so excited to get the show started, and then it feels like 2 minutes and I'm like towards the end of it. But to all of you who are listening, I see you out there on YouTube. Carl, Mango Mush, thank you for your compliment. I appreciate that. Kimmy and Susie Love, thank you for co-signing what Mango Mush said out there. John, I see you. Thank you guys so much for listening. And for the millions of others who are listening over the airways of 1210 WPHT, thank you so much. I'm Kathy Barnette. And this is my show, The Kathy Barnette Show. Here's the number if you guys want to be a part of the conversation, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Do I have my next guest on? Hey, Jennifer, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I am. Jennifer Say, I appreciate you so much for dropping in. For those who do not know who Jennifer is, you need to know this woman. Jennifer, I love it when I see people who are now saying what is apparently popular to say, but they didn't say it when the spotlight and the heat was flying. But there are people like you and myself and you know, and a handful of others who've been out here 10 toes down fighting for what is obvious. For example, There are only two genders. Jennifer, you have done so much. You're an author, retired gymnast, a 7-time member of the U.S. Women National Team in 1986, the U.S. Women All-Around National Champion. You produced the 2020 Emmy Award-winning documentary film Athlete A, which I saw on Netflix, which connected the crimes of Larry Nassar to the broader abuses in the Olympic movement. And as if that wasn't enough, you went on because you saw the, people checking common sense at the door. You went on to create a new clothing apparel brand called XX and XY Athletics, which acknowledges there's only male and female people And everything else is a mental health crisis waiting for a caring psychiatrist to sit down with them. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I mean, I was scouring your Twitter page, and you don't seem to be buying what Mark Zuckerberg is selling right now. You said no sympathy. This is Jennifer. She said no sympathy. Zuckerberg is one of the wealthiest, most powerful, and influential humans in the world. He didn't push back. He didn't say we don't censor Americans. He went along with the government's illegal demands. Some of us didn't go along. We pushed back with all our might. We lost our income, our opportunities, our friends, our careers. We could have used some help, but no, he was a coward. Jennifer says, now he's playing the victim and wants our sympathy, wants to be seen as heroic for speaking up now 5 years too late. No way, she says. Tell me how you really feel, Jennifer.
Yeah, I mean, this act is sort of frustrating. I can't really imagine someone with more money, more power, and more influence. And when the rubber hit the road, he ceded to the government's demands. And, you know, I'll give you an example. I started a group called Open Schools San Francisco in 2020. The public schools there were closed for 19 months, a year after schools opened in redder states. When we posted notifications for rallies, they were disappeared. They just disappeared. So how were we supposed to get folks to show up if we couldn't even announce that we were doing this? I'll give you another example, much more recent example, and this is what really annoys me. This summer at the 2024 Paris Olympics, as probably most of your listeners know, 2 men won gold in women's boxing.
Yes.
There was a grassroots move. They were not trans. They both, I believe, have differences in sex development. But this controversy is absolutely brought to us by the trans and gender ideology movement, because that movement says if you say you're a woman, you are. Well, this person is not a woman. This person has male genitalia, was born with an unfortunate disorder, probably was told at birth, his family was probably told he was a girl, but somewhere along the line, it became very clear
that this is a man
boy
with testosterone.
It didn't matter. That's right. And and testicles and penis and all of the stuff. And, didn't menstruate as he went through puberty because not a girl. Anyway, he chose to continue to identify as a girl to win in women's boxing. Anyway, there was a grassroots movement on social media started when these 2 men won, the most famous of which is Imani Khalif. And athletes in the Olympics were doing this XX symbol with their arms. There was a hashtag, it was hashtag XX, that went viral on Twitter, X, and it was banned on Meta. That's this past summer.
Right.
So give me a Mark Zuckerberg that now, you were pressured in 2020. That was 2024. You were banishing, disappearing a hashtag of real women. I feel no sympathy critical of folks like me and you saying, well, we need to welcome him on board now. But see, I agree with that. We want to grow the movement we want to welcome people who were perhaps late to the party. Different situation. This is politically expedient for Americans. He would be doubling down.
I don't even want
hands of the Biden administration.
Yeah.
He could have shown some back power and influence. I mean, I guess Elon, but America, and said we're not doing this. And I feel a little different. I'm sorry.
Wow. What a difference, right? Like, I was wrong.
I would feel differently. And I think that's the people who are now saying I was wrong. I think that's the people who are now saying I was wrong. I went after my neighbors. I called the police on my neighbors if I thought they had someone over there that had feel differently then, because then you sort of introspective. It lets us go, wow, I was pressured into that for it. I went with the crowd. It was high alert not to do it again if it happens again. But if you just pretend you never did, now you're on board. You're not a
don't even question it. You take them at their word. Just like if a man says he's a woman, you can't question. Right. You got to take him at his word. It feels like they're reading the exact same thing. And I never thought about what you just said. Like, no one has said, sorry, I was wrong. Right. You were right. I was wrong. And I decided as a result of it.
It's right. That's right. Then I would have a very different feel. Then I would say, okay.
So many others. I'm getting ready to go.
Exactly.
Hold on one second, Jennifer.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular. And this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for customers receive their second free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more?
Wait, can't afford it? Too much? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life, but if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage? And with Ethos, you could be family protected. Ethos, that's online term life insurance. Increase as low as $1 a day. And for a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If you have unfiled or in debt to the IRS, did you know the IRS has specifically designed with tax debt, powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. One knows these programs better than the Optima Tax Relief, America's most tax resolution firm, Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved $1 billion of tax debt. Optima can start the process. Your worries about wage garnishment, other IRS act, or getting the best options to solve your tax problem. Call the experts at Optima today. A confidential consultation.
Call 54-2840, 800-2840, 800-2840. Optima Relief. Some restricted at OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Our locals live the life of living the life. Starts by connecting with what happiness. When you visit, realize that happiness is a real place. It's here in Virginia Beach.
We all hear the radio ads about to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Relief Advocates is different. TR tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, $50,000 or $500, it doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with kids, no matter where. Call now. 800-5781. Don't lose hope. Can eliminate or reduce what you IRS. Generous programs can give you a fresh start. Taxes and helping individuals fix stress problems. We have over 1,000 on Google and an A+ with the best. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS. End your tax nightmare today. 5 line at TRA. Call 800-575-6481. 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates for real people.
Have you gone to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today. 10 WPHT.
It's one of them. They call me skyscraper.
Woo! Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. I just saying it all, right? I want to spread the love to everybody. I'm so grateful that you are listening in to 1210 WPHT. I'm Kathy Nett. This is Kathy Barnette Show. I am your weekend host. So excited. The number 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. And Jennifer, in these last few moments that we have, I want to turn everyone's attention to something that happened out of the Eastern District of Kentucky, because unfortunately out of sight.
His first 24th stand to enact it, and just a federal court in Kentucky did that rewrite. We have essentially reverted back to the original Title IX. Now, I will say one thing, Kathy, people should be aware of. There were many states that had already started to into sports and spaces. You know, Will Thomas, Leah Thomas, whatever you want to call him, he competed at the NCAA 2022 before
it is not over. Thank you so much. I'm coming up against a hard break. Say thank you so much for joining Kathy Barnette Show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tune in next. Excited about next week's show. I'm going to be talking to a subject matter expert. We're going to spin it around. We're going to talk about what's going on, not just inside, but what's going on. Donald Trump is going to be walking into office and inheriting, and I don't even know, like 10 days. Praise the Lord. It can't come. See me on Twitter at Kathy for Truth. My website, kathybarnette.com. Blessings.
Attention small owners needing financing. Swish funds for expansion, inventory, overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $10,000. If you've been in business, monthly income of at least, you can get